So how about the exercise use cases?
And 8 one completed, and then another pending. I'm working on it.
A, you know 14A, right? If you render that pick list in the stage names in the form of pick list, that's going to be your LWC use case 14. Right? So you can mark your status for 14A. 14A is where you render the LWC, component, the stage name in the form of dropdown. So this part of the exercise, display the stage in the form of dropdown. You can use the lightning combo box, right? Okay, then you can mark your status for 14A. Right, today I would like to walk through the LWC receipts. You know, in the trailer, they given LWC applications, example, demo example, okay, with source code. So you can deploy by following the GitHub procedure, so that you can deploy the entire application in your org, and you will get the source code in your local drive. Okay, as well as you can refer the particular example source code by simply click on link. So in order to do that, you have to complete the highlight, so that you can able to deploy the LWC receipts. So once you deployed, you know, if by following the procedure given here, you'll see if you don't have Git, you have to install. Then what next? Yeah. So the examples are given. They you can also have a look into it here. Right. Yeah. So this one you can go through. Installing the app using developer edition org, because we are using developer edition org, right? So you can look into this. So once you install the Git by completing this trailhead, by completing this trailhead, you will see the Git will be installed in your system. Once it is installed, you can look into this URL to the section installing the app using developer edition section by just following this command. What you have to do, you just have to enter this command over here, like this. Like this you have to do. You just have to follow this. You just have to follow this as given here. Okay. Once you done with till here, till 8th step, you will see the LWC examples application would install in your org like this. You'll be able to get the LWC receipts like this. You get my point? What I'm talking about, guys? You'll be able to see the LWC receipts in your org by following, by completing this trailhead, then by following these steps given in the section, installing the app using developer edition org. Will you do that? Able to follow what I'm talking about? I'll send that link in section name in the chat window. Nothing but you need to refer how to install the app in your developer edition org. That's it. Or tailored playground, whatever. You get my point? So once you install, you will see once you complete those 8 steps, you will see the LWC receipts in your org like this. So you'll see they added in the form of application page, I believe, everything. Okay, so if you go from here, you will see there are multiple examples they're given with a lightning card, right? A lightning card example. By click on the view source, you will redirect to the GitHub source code. Okay, so you can look into the code responsible for this UI. So nothing like they have a lightning card, title, isn't it, and some content and a footer, right? So if you see here HTML, you'll know, right? There's a title, icon name, and hello, greetings. In between the division, and they use SLDS classes. They given medium margin, right? And then this is common just to redirect you to the source code. So you can ignore this part. You can always ignore c-view-source tag. This is just to redirect you to the source code. That's it. Because they already written some code to redirect you to the GitHub. So this part you can ignore. This is always repeat for every examples. If you go to hello expression, so what they given here, listen. Whatever you entered, right, that will be rendered in uppercase. That's it, right? So whatever you entered, whether you entered in upper or lower, always will render in uppercase. So how it is being done? You just check on view source. Yeah, you click on HTML. So we have a lightning card, right? And we have input where user can enter the input, and they have on change event for first name, last name. They have on change event for first name and last name. So what they are doing in your JS? In JS, both the input, whether it's last name and first name, both the input, first name and last name, they are they are invoking the handle change JS function, right? So they get the value and they check whether user enters anything in the first name input box or last name input box. So how, see here, event.target.name, what they are referring actually? They're referring the attribute first name. So if you see the HTML, they added one attribute here, right? Name equal to. You remember we give value. Remember, we give value in last examples, right? In other examples you have seen, we given value here. The name is something like an ID, an identification attribute, right? Name, anything you give, so that you can refer by target dot that particular attribute name. You get my point? So you get the value, you check it, and then you assign that to the property, JS property. Okay, and this JS property you need to convert that into uppercase. How they are doing? As soon as the user enters, it should be referred dynamically. So how they are referring dynamically? The format already we covered. Hey, I'm audible. I'm sorry. There's a power fluctuation. I'm very sorry.
You are.
Audible, right? The screen is visible.
Yes, yes, visible.
Hold on. Yeah. So over here, yeah. So they what they do actually for every character user enters, they dynamically referring this, dynamically referring this. So you see that this is not single quotes actually. This is called backtick. Uh, yeah, the character that you can see in the keyboard to the left side of your the number, the numerical button. We enter one exclamatory, right? You'll see this character. This is backtick. So within backtick, we already covered this example. We referred it as a single quotes, but not single quotes. It's a backtick. So dollar, and that now this became a dynamic property, right? So whenever the property value changed, that will be dynamically referred here. So then they are using a regular JavaScript method, a predefined method to uppercase, and so that, and they return it. So what is this actually? This is a getter method of your JS. Getter method. In Apex, right? In Apex, we use get. If we have a property in Visual Force page, suppose we have a class property. I mean class member. We can refer this property in a Visual Force page like this. Am I right? Isn't it? Can I refer this in another form? This is a automated property. This is called automated property. So we don't have any logic to be executed. We don't have any logic. It's just a null, a property without any logic. Just empty get set block, isn't it? The same thing can also be rewritten in another form. If you have something to execute in the form of getter method, I'm just talking about only the getter part. Okay, the getter method, public string, right? And then we'll prefix that with get name, and it's going to return some string, right? Return some string. So this is nothing but a getter method, right? So how you can do the same thing in your JS? In JS, it is going to be written in this form. In JS class, it is going to be get keyword space name. Get my point? And you have a return statement like this. Both are same. Only refer this in your HTML. Only refer this simply within a braces. You refer this name. That is what you are seeing here. Get my point? So uppercase full name. So that will be referred like this. Uppercase full name. That's it. So it will look for the the when the LWC component is loaded. This will be the system will look for when the component is compiled. It will look for whether the property JS property is available or is there any getter method. So automatically the getter method will be referred and it will look for this property, and whenever the user enters, the dynamically the value will be referenced and this method will return the updated value. So that's how you can look into this receipt. Okay, and if you see here this example, they given I mean they render a line at the top, a thin line at the top, at the bottom, and they're rendering some some names actually, right? Names and title. So let's see how they have done this. HTML, JS, okay, and we also have a CSS. Yeah, in HTML, of course they use card, and they use unordered list HTML element, so that you'll able to get the items like this one by one, right? So where these values are coming from? The values are coming from in JS in the form of array. In the contact, they given an ID, isn't it? It's array. There are 3 values. That is what you are seeing in the UI. So the contacts, they are referring with the help of iterator. You know, iterator is also one of the a tag, one of the attribute of template, like for each. You can also render the values like this. If you use a iterator, there is a I'm sorry, my kid is disturbing. So 1 minute. Hold on. Yeah, the iterator. When you use iterator, okay, when you use iterator, you have an option to use first and last. You can you can specifically refer the first value and the last value. That is possible in the iterator. The iterator is also a part of. It's already given in your LWC guide. Yeah, you see, compared to for each, if you use iterator, you have an option to use the first and last boolean value. Okay, the first and last boolean value you can use, which is not available in your for each, which is not available in your for each. Yeah, if you see here, this is for each example and this is iterator example. You'll see we have option to use if it is a first element, then yeah, if it's a first, then enter this and till to the last element. Yeah, so you have option to use the first boolean value and the last boolean value. If it's the last boolean value, it will come out, right? So it's a loop will come out, right? So they use that iterator here. Then how they bring a line at the top and line at the bottom, okay? Because you see here, right? There is a thin line at the top, a line at the bottom. We'll see how they brought it. So
Yeah, hi Ranjit. But both iterator and for each does the same, right? Even for each also, if it is the last, it will come out. Right?
for each, you don't specify anything called for
Start the
last
last.
or first, but you have control here. You have option here to do something referring, because when the last element is arrived, then you render this, resolve this CSS class. Otherwise, you don't apply this, isn't it? So
Okay.
that control you cannot do it in your for each. For each, it always executes till to the last element, and you don't have you cannot render anything specific to the last element. But here you see, uh, when there is a first element, then they are applying this CSS. When there is a last
Okay.
element, they are applying this CSS, isn't it? So that is possible in the iterator. So when there is a first element, right, then this become true, then automatically this class will be applied. So what is given in the class? No, all they given is giving a margin at the top. That's it. See a border, right? They're given a border at the top. Okay. And this is a dynamic reference. Don't be confused. You just ignore this. You just apply one px solid, a color. You'll able to see that a border at the top. You ignore this whole part. You just apply one px solid color. That's enough. And the last element when you get, apply the border at the bottom. Is actually a predefined CSS property only. Border hyphen bottom, border hyphen top, border hyphen left, border hyphen right. You get my point? So you just apply one px solid, a color in hexadecimal format. So you'll able to see a thin line at the top or the bottom. Is that clear? Shall I move to the next one, next example? Is it clear to all of you?
One doubt. Input name you said, right? Lightning input instant value you said name. Can you repeat again? Why we are going for name? Input name.
Input name is just a identification. How will you refer this input text box in your JS? How will you refer? In Visual Force, we have options like suppose I have apex colon input, and I have ID, right? I have ID. I can refer this ID and I perform something. I can identify this tag by referring this ID. So same way, they identify this input text box. They identify this input text box, last name and first name, by including an attribute called name attribute.
Okay.
You get my point? Name attribute. You give any name you want. You give any name you want. But for the best practice, they given the same name as first name, last name. They refer this in the JS by target.name. So you just refer that particular attribute. That's it. Clear? And for each, I think you need not look into it. We already know for each. This example we just covered. And hello condition rendering, we already seen. You know what they have done. They would have used template if, right? Template if true and if false, isn't it? So template if true, if false. Okay, and this should be a JS property, isn't it? And the type is checkbox, so that you will get the checkbox like this, isn't it? And on click of the checkbox, how will you refer this value in your JS? You remember that property name? How will you that object name? How will you refer that value? A target dot. I think target dot checked, right? A target dot checked. Yes. So these examples, you just try to look into it, and then the topic we covered. I just go into composition. We'll see whether you get something from this example. And here they just render a contact detail, one contact detail called Amy Taylor, VP of Engineering, and phone number. And you will see this is something a formatted content, right? A formatted content. And the whole thing, if you see, it looks like they used lightning card. Okay, so let's see. And this example they given for how to use API. You know API, exposing the child JS property outside the class, isn't it? And API will use to pass value from parent to child, isn't it? Parent to child. Let's see. HTML, JS, CSS. Okay, so we have HTML here. So lightning card, as we suspect, lightning card, and ignore this. Okay, this to refer the code and redirect to the code. And we have a child component. The child component name is contact child, right? So a contact child, isn't it? And what we are having in contact tail? Of course, in parent we just have a we just nested the child. That's it. We don't do much in parent. In parent we just have the lightning card and include the nested the child. So what we have it in the JS. In JS we have a contact value. That's it. The picture reference and the properties like name, title, phone number. That's it. Nothing else in the parent. And they are passing the value of the contact, which is nothing but the parent, to the child property. The child property name again is contact. So we already came across this example. This contact should be a property in the child, isn't it? So I go to the contact tile, again HTML, JS. So in JS, it's a @API property. So reason we are able to refer here, right? We're able to refer here outside the somewhere in the parent class we are referring the child property because of @API nature, exposing the property. Okay. Now in the HTML, what they have done? How do they get such type of formatted, aligned properly, and this phone number is hyperlink? How it happens? Listen here. First thing, how they arranged it, right? So they use the lightning layout, and the first layout item they refer the picture. It means they divide in two columns. Okay, lightning layout, lightning layout item, lightning layout item. There are two child element. One layout parent, two layout item. One portion is for picture, another portion is for content, a name, title, phone number. Okay, so this portion, if you see, you get the picture like this. Okay, and where we are, yeah. So and the next portion, they apply equal padding by referring the inbuilt standard attribute called padding. And okay, and the name and title, no formatting. But if you see the phone number, they use lightning formatted phone, right? Which will render the phone value, any value that you give here in the form of hyperlink like this. That's what you are seeing here. Okay, so yeah. Okay, and we also have seen some CSS, right? Okay. Yeah, CSS. The image. If you see the image is looks in the form of circle, right? So basically, the actual image will not be a circle. The actual image wouldn't be a circle. It is might be a square. But how did they apply this circle? The radius decide. The radius determines the radius property, the border radius property of CSS. Okay, just hold on. Yeah, the border radius property. If you give 50%, it will apply. The image will looks like a circle because the radius become 50%. If you increase the radius, obviously the zero radius will be no. The corner will be a square corner. The sharp corner. Okay. If you apply some radius, a blended corner, you need to increase this value from 0 to 50. Then that will become a rounded corner. Okay. Let's hold on. Listen here. How did they get this? The rounded corner. Increase this radius. right? And increase this to in the form of percentage, say 25%, looks same somewhat. Increase this to 50%. It looks like a circle because of other properties. It's being looking something different. But if you set this width and height to an equal value and apply the radius 50, you will see they applied this, right? Basically, they applied this. Where is it? Yeah, for this HTML tag, they directly apply the CSS. So like this, referring the HTML tag directly, apply all the CSS so that image looks like a circle. And other things, they apply some padding so that you'll get the equal spacing, and phone number is formatted with help of lightning formatted input. So the same content is being used here. The same contact tile is being used inside the another component. Okay, so here just one element. Here they used nested. That's it. So if you see this example, so of course the parent will have a array, isn't it? The parent will have array of contact. Here we had only one contact. We have array of contact. The child, it doesn't change. The child remains same. The child remains same. So the only difference is the parent is iterating with the help of for each, isn't it? The only difference is we are iterating the array in the form of using for each in the parent. No other difference. Everything remains same. We'll move on to next one. It's clear, both of you. Both examples are clear to all of you.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and the composition. See this particular application page, app page, is to explain you how you can compose the component as well, which means a parent to child, how you can nested the component. That's the reason they given this example. Okay, in addition to decorator example, they also given how to compose it. Okay, and composing the contact search. So we have a lightning card parent, and inside we have something, a search element, right? So we'll see. As you entered, of course, this should be an on change event, isn't it? There would be a text box, and as user entered, uh, we search the matching text and pass that value to the child. That's what they're doing. Okay, type a few characters and search for to express the receipt. Right. Let's see how they're done. So over here, we have input, right? And on change. What is the use of the type search? The type attribute, if you give search, you will get a UI in this format. This all because of the type equal to search. You get a lookup icon, a search icon like this, and you also have a canceling UI. Okay, the icon also rendering. Okay, so you get that because of the type search, the type equal to search. Okay, and handle change, we call this method, and then of course a timeout, isn't it? Timeout we already know. A timeout they are using, and handle change, and they clear this because some event is already applied. Every time they go, they like to clear that to avoid. Yeah, of course we know, right? The timeout basically we avoid large number of apex method call. That's what they given. And this by default, it's a good practice actually. You always clear the event which already been dispatched, which already been fired. You clear it every time. Okay. And then this is already know. They declare one property constant, and they get the value every time user entered. But now they would like to uh, perform the search by some delay. The 350 numbers, they delay the search. So how they delay it? By find contacts. Okay. So find contacts, nothing but it's again example of call apex. I don't know why they given this example here, because when you get into this composition, you should also aware of how to call apex. Of course, we already aware apex contact controller is a class name, and find contact is the method name, right? So you can also see that classes contact controller. So what is the method name? Find contact that accepts a parameter, and right. So it's a wildcard character they prefix and suffix in both the side, and we just pull that contact. That's it. And now, yeah. So they pass that argument search key to the find contacts, isn't it? And this is a promise method, right? Callback version of your modern JavaScript. Okay, and then they get the result, then assign to the local property, else error. So this is your parent, right? Yeah, parent. And they pass that value, whatever the contact we got, right? They just iterate it, whatever we filtered, whatever we got, whatever result we got from Apex, they refer it in the for each, and they just pass each contact to the type. That's it. So the same example what you have seen here, the same example here. Only thing here is you get all these contacts, matching contacts from the database by by based on the user input. That's it. That's the only difference between these two. You get my point, right? You have input text box. As user enter the value, we call apex by delaying and get the value. That value you are for each using iterating using for each, and pass that value to the child. I hope it's clear. I hope it's clear to all of you. Is that fine?
Yeah, Ranjit, one question here. I think so. Whatever you are going to write, everything was in the developer guide. The same examples, correct?
Might be. I don't know. LWC Recipes.
Yeah, because I also checked whatever you are going, right? Some of the examples were same examples for developer guide, the reference guide already. Same
Developer
examples.
guide or
Research.
LWC Recipes. Both from?
LWC guide, yeah.
No, both from Salesforce company only. No. So you might
Yeah,
have
yeah.
seen the same example here also. But I don't think
Yes.
so. You'll see everything example is given here. Right? Sometimes it will be new. But you need this content session, or you like to go through yourself? It is also given
Please
here.
go through. Yeah, please
Fine,
go
right?
through once. Yeah, fine.
Yeah.
And I have some doubts. Can I ask?
Good.
Yeah, yesterday I tried with the white property, but there is no error. I deployed to the system, but when I added this component in my application page, undefined error coming and no data is displaying actually.
Oh, you share your screen if you're ready.
Yeah, already ready. Actually, I want to ask this doubt from starting.
Good. You share your screen. We are done with this composition. So before I move to the next one, you just share your screen and get clarified. No.
1 second. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes, Rajesh.
Yeah. So there is a two example I tried with. One is the contact, another is the opportunity. So this is a contact example. So it's the same whatever they given in the LWC developer guide. Okay, everything is same. I tried not this time not tried, just copy pasted everything and deployed to the Salesforce. After deploying and when I'm checking things right, so nothing is working out. Can I move to UI?
Did you put any console log for your component?
No, not it.
Okay. Which example you are trying to see? Apex wired method to property?
Yeah, wired with property. This is a example yesterday you mentioned, right? Check the get the opportunity details and based on the controller. So this is the example I tried it. Opportunity, yeah, wired with property and JS.
JS? Hold on. Okay. Now go to
XML
JS.
file. Yeah, JS.
And last name. Where is the call apex? This is an example of call apex, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay, okay. They given, yeah, opportunity data list dot get opportunity data list. Okay, and you get opportunity into opportunity. Okay, you need to align it. Okay, and go to HTML.
HTML. Okay.
Opportunity dot. Can you go to JS again?
Yeah, sure.
Why you given? Can you use the same case actually? The opportunity property name started with the capital O. Can you replace? Can you change the character? Either here or there, you should use the same case. Refer to the same lowercase or uppercase, whatever. The line number 3, yeah. Save and deploy and see. So this is what you're expecting. You're not getting output now.
Yesterday, not even showing this thing also. Nothing was there too. Maybe the using of capital and small.
Go there. We'll fix it. Okay, you go there. We'll fix it. Go to Visual Studio Code again. Opportunity details.
I just have you saved the app builder. Have you saved the application note after change?
Yeah, I deployed, right?
To deploy, there we will need to save it right in the component. In the app builder.
Let me save it.
Sometimes it
No, the app builder, Rajesh. The UA.
What
Salesforce
is
in
this?
Salesforce.
This example is not saved, right? It's can you edit? Yeah, edit the page.
Need to place again, Mutraj.
Otherwise, just save it. If you already have added, please save it after the change. Then only it is reflecting here.
That's so.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Save
What I'm thinking.
Oh, okay.
See, Rajesh.
Yes.
Yeah, open Visual Studio.
Okay.
Yeah. Which example you are trying now? While with property, right?
Yes, while with property for the opportunity report only. Just no conditions, just simply getting the opportunity data. This is a class. Okay.
The naming convention you have to follow best practice. Okay. It should be plural names. List name could be a plural name like that. You need to change later.
Yeah, I will follow the name, but just
Yeah.
want to understand where I'm missing it.
Return OPPT. Okay. And then opportunity data, order item. JS again. JS. Yeah. Why? Okay. HTML. HTML. Yeah. Can you change that name, small letter, right, to capital N? Yeah, right click and deploy and see. Yeah, refresh it. Not okay. Rajesh, can you edit the page and keep that page in the edit mode only? Whenever you deploy it, just save it. Let's see. Yeah, because of buffering, no, sometimes it won't reflect the changes. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
You
here
get the
it's
right?
showing.
Yeah,
But
save it, save it. Now you save it. It will work. It will work now. Because of that case, JavaScript is case sensitive. No need to activate. No need to activate. It's because of buffering. Go to the next tab. Go to the next tab. Refresh it. It will work. Yeah.
So because of case sensitive, only the problem happened, right? So
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
opportunity is small and
Correct.
name is.
Correct. Exactly.
Okay. Thank you, Ranjit. That I got. Actually, I tried the two examples, but so two examples have the same problem. So maybe because of the same thing. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. No problem.
I'm stopping my screen.
Yeah. So.
Thanks for clarifying.
No problem. So the parent and child, parent and child is basically with the help of AT API only. Every example is AT API. Can you look into it yourself and see whether you're able to get the concept? Okay. And this one and Apex, both the things you walk through. Any doubt, anything, you get back. Hello, you get my point? So Apex Y to property, imperative call, everything you on click of this, you get the contact. You know how they have done it, right? They would have called the method imperatively with help of promise function, isn't it? So if you go to JS, see, it's all what we
Ranjit,
covered. Okay.
One question. What is the use of benefit of while property? What is the disadvantage?
Disadvantage. There is no disadvantage. It's all. We can't say it's a. We can't see this a module. As a disadvantage. We need to see when to use it, isn't it? When you use property, we already explained it yesterday. When we use property when there is no logic to be performed. when the component is loaded. You get the data when the component is loaded, right? You get the data. So, but no logic is performed. You just get the data and render it. But something you can perform because it's a function, right? We have a function to perform something. You have option here. You are free to write any logic here. What is your question? Yeah.
Yeah, yesterday I read some article. While function has some disadvantage, like it doesn't have, it will refresh data automatically whenever data is available. Like if you are not putting any limit, right? Suppose any record is newly created, automatically the record is also updated in the display. Suppose you want to display the name of the all the opportunities. Suppose any new name.
No. Tell me. If you display the name of opportunities, what is the example you are taking?
Suppose, right, there are some 100 records in the system, and by using white property, we are displaying 100 records in the UI as of now. So after some time, some user creates a new record, opportunity record, then automatically the record is updating automatically, right?
Yeah, that's not happening in wiring, you are saying?
That is happening in wiring, right? So it doesn't have any control. Whatever the data comes up, it will display directly to the front-end user. That's what I'm asking.
I don't know whether I didn't see that an advantage. That's the nature of wiring. You always get the reactive, right? You always, whatever you get in your other end updated, that will reflect in your UI. That's the wiring nature of that decorator. Disadvantage, don't see that's okay. I never seen this as a kind of disadvantage. It's a kind of a property of a wiring nature. That's it. So, 2 minutes. 2 minutes. And you see this example by referring the property and so wiring with the complex parameter, randomly, let's take this quickly. Okay, Apex static schema. What is this? Okay, this is a kind of reference they take for individual field. Okay, the schema, the schema reference for object field, say standard object. So what is the importance of this syntax? Any changes to the field apart from name, okay, any changes to the field that will be available to the JS, and you cannot delete this field because it is being referred in the JS. This will strictly enforce a validation. A user cannot remove the field from the object. It's a standard field, of course, you cannot remove. In case if it is a custom field, _C, you cannot remove it because it's a schema reference, okay? And you refer that schema, import that in the form of your own name field, the title and all, and they are referring here, okay? Get object value, get S object value. So again, this is a schema reference. You see here, isn't it? So this is a schema reference. This is basically a predefined module they are importing. Okay, so you're able to get the value of this field automatically. So it's something like a search function. You have the data here, a contact data in this list. Okay, in this value, and in the whole record, how can I select a particular field? So this get object value is basically having two parameters. One is the whole record, the one object record, okay? And you locate only one particular field and you return that field. Okay, you get it what I'm saying? So you know this function, a tertiary operator. You guys know this function, tertiary operator. When You come across stationary operators, guys?
No, Ranjit.
Okay. Listen, if 4 is greater than 5, okay, if 4 is greater than 5, then I return a string as 4 is greater. Let's put it another way. Okay. Else, I'm saying something like this. Okay. So any value you pass, suppose I pass 8, then this will be returned. If I pass 2 and this will be returned, isn't it? A false will return. So how can you rewrite this example in using stationary operator? Listen, a greater than 5. Okay, if it is greater, then return this, and then colon. If it is false, then return this. You get my point? The complete if else I return it in one sentence. I replace in one line because of stationary operator nature. Okay, so when this is true, it contains any data, then return this. If it is undefined, the return space. You get my point? Is that clear now?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so if it contains any data, return this next to the question mark, else return this. So what they're returning by referring the a predefined schema function, module get s object value. We have a data here. Among this data, we just return name. That's it. That's what example they given here. Okay, so return that name. So obviously they would have referred in the HTML in the form of property. No, listen, name, title. Correct. So they're returning the title. They're returning the email. These are all different form of referring the example. Sometimes you will see you may need to use this. So go through this example, and that's a static schema and imperative method with the params. What is this? We click on this, the search will happen, isn't it? You click on this, the search will happen. Okay, you check on this later. I think pretty much we already know how to do this. So go through this and try this example on your own. Don't copy paste. Refer it and try from the scratch on your own, so that you make mistakes and you fix it. That's the only way to learn. Okay. So go through Apex and parent to child. Child to parent we haven't covered, right? Child to parent we have covered. Dispatch, yeah, we covered dispatch. Dispatch, that example also you can see. So this one and this one and Apex you can see additionally. Tomorrow we'll start looking into data service, LDS. Okay, fine. Yes, see you tomorrow then. Any doubt you like to clarify? Any doubt you would like to get clarified? Anything, anywhere stuck up? Any examples? Any use cases? No? Okay then.